So here's an example problem. I have a student that drove from home to a party. Wanting to make sure that she was at the correct house, she followed the directions by tracking the distance on the odometer. She traveled 12 kilometers in 22 minutes. So we want to know what the average speed is. Now remember, average speed is going to be the total distance traveled divided by the time. And now we want to make sure that we're in hours and we're given the problem in minutes. So we want 22 minutes and we want to convert that to hours. So there are 60 minutes to 1 hour, so that we will have that total time in hours. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to take my 22 divided by 60, and that's going to give me 0.367 hours. Well, we know the total distance traveled was 12 kilometers, and the time it took was 0.367 hours, and that's going to give us a value of 32.7 kilometers per hour. Now, it's going to have a little bit of a different type of activity if I want to know what is the average velocity if we start here. This is her house, and her 12 kilometers had her go here, go up, go here, and we ultimately ended up here because that's how the road goes. But here is what we refer to as our displacement. And we're told that in the problem, we're going to tell us that the displacement is 10.3 kilometers, and we're told that this is 25 degrees. Now, for the course of this problem, we just want to know the magnitude of the displacement vector. Remember that our vectors, velocity is a vector, and so it's going to have a magnitude and direction. We're given the direction is 25 degrees, and we're given the magnitude of 10.3 kilometers. So our average velocity is going to be our 10.3 kilometers divided by our time, which is our 0.367 hours. And that is going to give us a value of 28, sorry, I was just got my numbers reversed, 28.1 kilometers per hour. So you can start to see the difference between average speed and average velocity. One takes care of the displacement and one is related to the total distance traveled. So now we're going to make a little bit of a difference. Let's say if she returned home by the same path, so we're going to have the same path, but now we're going to say that that person traveled 7 hours 30 minutes later. What is the average speed and the average velocity? Well, the average speed, remember, is going to be the total my average speed is equal to the total distance divided by the time. And now this time we have 7.5 hours. our total distance is twice the original distance. So that's 24 kilometers. And so that's going to be our 24 divided by 7.5. And that's going to give us 32 kilometers per hour. But now if I want the average velocity, that is my change in displacement divided by the time. Well, our time is 7.5 hours, but we traveled the same path. We returned home, so we returned back to our starting point. So where we started and where we finished was the same, so our total displacement is 0 kilometers. So the average velocity is going to be 0 kilometers per hour. So that gives you a little bit of a difference between what is the displacement and the average speed. Hopefully this will start to clarify the difference between vectors and how we normally think of a word problem, and we look at our terminology a little bit differently. Speed is going to be related to the total distance traveled, where velocity is going to be related to that vector quantity. What's the magnitude of our displacement? And that will get us that particular aspect. Hopefully this problem clarifies it, and we will do another example later.